A shocking broadcast, a televised threat, and a region holding its breath. Well, tensions between Iran and Israel may have just crossed into a far more dangerous psychological battlefield. Not on the ground, not in the air, but on television screens, watched by millions. It all began with a broadcast that stunned viewers across the Middle East. Iranian state television aired something that looked straight out of a war movie. A graphic, a list, a crosshair placed over the faces of some of Israel's most powerful decision makers. And wait, among those shown was Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Also featured senior intelligence and military leadership, including the head of Israel's intelligence agency, David, and other top defense officials as well. In fact, the images, they were dramatic. The message, even more chilling. And then came the words that sent shockwaves across diplomatic circles. The presenter reportedly spoke directly in Hebrew. That's right, delivering a message that sounded less like propaganda and more like a warning. Well, the warning suggesting that Israeli leaders should prepare and wait for the future retaliation. The mention of drone retaliation added another layer of psychological warfare here. But you know why now and why escalate messaging at this exact moment? Because behind the closed doors, diplomacy and military planners, they are colliding. That's right, reports from CBS suggest that US President Donald Trump has been privately discussing potential scenarios with Israeli leadership. According to those reports, Washington may support fresh Israeli military strikes if negotiations with Iran collapse. Now, that revelation has dramatically raised the global anxiety level because it signals two parallel tracks that are unfolding at once. That's right, diplomatic talks trying to avoid the conflict and military preparations, that is, for the war, right? And history shows that when both tracks run together, the risk of sudden escalation grows sharply. Now, inside Israel, such televised threats are being seen as psychological pressure tactics. Displaying enemy leaders on screen with targeting symbols, it's not just messaging. It is designed to show capability, to create fear, to signal readiness here, and perhaps to influence the ongoing political and military calculation. Now, inside Iran, the messaging, it carries a different tone. Officials have repeatedly warned that any strike on Iranian territory or its missile program would trigger retaliation across the region. Not limited, not symbolic, but potentially widespread. And that is why global observers are watching every signal carefully, because modern conflict is no longer just about missiles being launched. It begins with signals, threat narratives, and media messaging. Psychological warfare often becomes the first battlefield before the physical one. And the timing of this broadcast is also deeply sensitive. Diplomatic engagement between global powers and Iran is approaching a crucial phase. If talks succeed, tensions may cool, but if talk fails, military escalation risks growing dramatically. And the biggest fear right now, that one message, one strike, or even one misunderstanding could trigger a chain reaction. A reaction that would not remain limited to one country. A reaction that could spread across the entire Middle East, affecting global energy market, military alliances, and civilian population.